Years after our breakup, I ran into my wealthy ex-girlfriend in an elevator. The moment she saw the child in my arms, she panicked in a way I'd never seen before. But my mind flashed back to the night she attended a gala on the arm of a famous singer, the two of them laughing intimately. Back then, my own insecurity had sent me running. I disappeared without a word, not even a proper breakup. Snapping back to the present, I started to walk away, but she blocked my path, her eyes red. "Don't avoid me," she pleaded. "Just say it. Say you miss me. Say you can't let me go. Say you'll only ever love me. Just say the words and I'll give you anything. I can even be a stepmother to your child." Today was my sister's birthday, and she'd called me back from overseas for it. I walked into the elevator holding my niece, making her giggle, completely oblivious to anyone else inside. "Wow, that lady is so pretty. Is she a big star?" my little niece asked, her eyes wide with wonder. I instinctively turned to look at the giant poster plastered on the elevator wall. In that instant, I froze. It was her, Chloe Sterling. After all these years, I'd heard she'd become incredibly successful. I stood there in silence for a few seconds as a flood of long-buried memories rushed back, making it hard to breathe. But that was all in the past. I gently pinched my niece's nose and said in a doting tone, "Her name is Chloe Sterling. She's a very powerful businesswoman. Too bad, while she's an amazing woman, she wasn't a very good girlfriend." Just then, the elevator doors opened, and a woman with a beautiful voice stepped in. "Sir, were you just talking about me? Wow, and hello, little one. Don't you think I'm pretty? Wow, you're so pretty. Hey, you look exactly like the lady on the poster." My heart leaped into my throat. That voice was too familiar, so familiar it was etched into my very soul. When I finally lifted my eyes, they met hers. Time seemed to stand still. Chloe was startled at first, then her gaze locked onto me, her brow furrowing as her eyes darted between me and the child. Soon, her expression turned cold, reverting to the icy mask I remembered. I instinctively took a step back, making room for her. "Hello." Hearing my polite, distant greeting, Chloe let out a bitter laugh. "Is that all you have for me? Just hello?" Thankfully, the elevator soon stopped at my floor. I clutched my niece tighter and made a dash for the door. "Wait," she called out, following me. "Can I ask you a question? Is this your child?" "Nope, he's my uncle," my niece piped up. "Isn't he handsome? He's not married yet, he's a single Pringle." "Hush, don't say silly things," I quickly told her. I could feel Chloe's gaze intensify, but I didn't look back. I just kept walking. I didn't know why, after all these years, seeing her again would hurt so much. The birthday party was lively, with everyone playing games, but I slipped away to the balcony for some air. I lit a cigarette, took a deep drag, and watched the smoke rings curl into the air, seeing my past life in them. These past few years, I'd lived in moldy basements and rummaged through foul-smelling trash cans. But I had gritted my teeth and survived the hardest times. Still, the inferiority complex buried in my bones was like a brand, something that could never be erased. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned my head and saw Chloe. She was wearing a black evening gown, her aura so striking and elegant it made you afraid to get close. "You never used to smoke, did you? It's only been a few years. Where did you pick up such a bad habit? I thought you promised me you'd never smoke." "Sorry, I've always smoked," I replied coolly. "I just never did it in front of you because you said you didn't like the smell. You didn't come all the way out here to lecture me, did you?" Just as I was about to brush past her, she suddenly reached out and grabbed my arm. "Don't you have anything to say to me?" "Like what? What is there to say? Reminisce about the past? Rekindle an old flame?" "Sorry, I have my own life now. You should stop trying to be a part of it." Seeing her this flustered for the first time made my nose tingle. It wasn't for her, but for myself. From now on, who I walked with and what kind of life I lived was my decision alone. Could be anyone, just not her. Besides, we were never from the same world. "You stop right there. You're not leaving until you give me an answer. Where have you been all these years?" I calmly shook her hand off and sneered. "Humph, looking for me? Why, Miss Sterling, to you, wasn't I just a dog you could summon and dismiss at will? What's the matter? You're getting anxious now that your dog has run off." I wasn't trying to belittle myself, I was just stating a fact. Chloe fell silent. Her gaze was so sharp it felt like it could pierce my skin, see into the moldy corners of my heart, and expose the fact that I still loved her. "Ethan Miller, you're a bastard. How dare you just vanish without a single word?" Chloe and I met in college. Back then, I was scraping by on a monthly allowance of just over $1,000, while she was already financially independent. She covered almost all our expenses when we were dating. While other students were stressing about failing classes, I was trailing behind her, seeing the wonders of the world. A single night of partying in New York City could cost more than I could save in a whole year. For me, it all felt like a beautiful dream I was bound to wake up from. There was an insurmountable class divide between us. I could only be a fleeting firework in her life's journey. We couldn't be like a normal couple. She was always busy, and a message from me might go unanswered for hours. This constant feeling of insecurity was torture. Even when we went out, her friends never bothered to remember my name. In their eyes, I was just an accessory, a temporary guest who could be easily replaced. Until that one time, I knew she was attending an event and happened to be nearby, so I went to sneak a peek. That single glance was the final straw. In the spotlight, she walked the red carpet on the arm of that famous singer. She looked perfect, her custom gown accentuating her figure and grace. They looked so sweet, laughing arm in arm, like a match made in heaven. I stood in the shadows watching them, feeling both calm and completely broken. That was a world I could never touch. It was time for me to wake up. The wind was cold that night. I left the apartment she had bought for me, with no breakup and no goodbye. I snapped my SIM card, deleted all my social media, and completely erased myself from her world. I took a deep breath, forcing myself out of the memory and back to the present, looking at the teary-eyed Chloe before me. "Miss Sterling, please have some self-respect." I admit, seeing her still made my heart race, but it wasn't love anymore, just a deeply buried instinct. Now, I weigh the pros and cons of every situation. Her persistence was likely born from a sense of indignation. Someone like her, born at the finish line, couldn't stomach being dumped by a poor kid. I was her unforgettable first love, the one that got away. But that kind of love was too heavy a burden, and I wasn't worthy of it. I pried her hand off mine again and gave a bitter laugh. "Heh, I'm sorry I left so abruptly back then, but I can tell you clearly now, Chloe, there's no future for us together. The past you can't let go of means nothing to me anymore. We've long been worlds apart. I hope you take care of yourself." With that, I turned to leave without another moment's hesitation. But Chloe didn't seem to understand. Before I had taken more than a few steps, she rushed forward, grabbed me, and pulled me into the nearby stairwell. "Miss Sterling, compose yourself. Let me go." "No, I've already lost you once. This time, I don't care what you say, I'm never letting go." Before I could even process it, Chloe pressed herself against me and kissed me. My eyes shot open, my heart hammering against my ribs. I was frozen, completely at a loss. After a long moment, she buried her head in my shoulder, her arms wrapped tightly around my waist, her body trembling. Then, I felt a warm wetness spreading on my shoulder. She was crying. In the quiet stairwell, I could hear Chloe's suppressed sobs. "Are you done playing? You've been hiding from me for so many years. Can you please come back now?" In that heavy silence, it dawned on me that the seemingly carefree Chloe had feelings too. At the end of the day, she was just a person. Maybe she was just bitter about being abandoned, but what was the point? She'd had a string of successful men by her side over the years, so why couldn't she just let go of the past, and let go of me? I hardened my heart and gently but firmly pushed her away. "I told you, it's impossible between us." I saw panic in her eyes, followed by the light dimming from her once bright gaze. She was disappointed. Not daring to give her another chance to speak, I turned and walked away without looking back. I ran right into my sister, who was looking for me. "What's wrong? Are you not used to these kinds of parties? Why the long face?" "It's nothing, it was just getting stuffy inside, so I came out for some air." "Come on, let's go back for the cake cutting." "Is that so? Lily said you met a really pretty lady. Do you know her?" "Yeah, I know her. She was my girlfriend in college." "An ex." My sister, having been through it all, patted my shoulder and told me that as long as I was happy, it didn't matter if I never got married. I smiled at her, a warmth spreading through my chest. A few days later, my assistant, Leo, came to me with a gossipy look on his face. "Mr. Miller, there's a woman outside who's asking for you by name. She's gorgeous, has a really powerful vibe. Should I let her in?" "What's her name?" "She didn't say, just that she knows you well and insists on seeing you." I glanced at the time, frowned, but finally nodded. "Have her wait for me in the conference room." After I finished up some urgent work and pushed open the conference room door, I understood why she had been so insistent. It was Chloe. When she saw me enter, her beautiful eyes flickered, and her lips parted but no sound came out. I was speechless. Does this woman not understand plain English? "Ethan, don't go," she said urgently as she saw me turn to leave. I sighed and sat down across from her. "CEO Sterling, you're certainly efficient, tracking down my studio so quickly," I said with a cool jab. "I'll give you 1 minute. State your business." Chloe's eyelashes trembled. She took a deep breath to compose herself. "Ethan, I'm here today to commission your services. I heard you're a renowned jewelry designer, so I have a big project for you. I need you to design a diamond ring for me." Hearing this, I raised an eyebrow, my interest piqued. "My design fees are very expensive. I can afford it. The question is, do you dare to take the job?" "Ha, that's funny. When someone's offering me money, why wouldn't I dare?" Chloe was taken aback. It was the first time she had seen such a confident, composed smile on my face. "However," I added, "as the designer, I need to know the purpose of this ring to create the perfect design." Chloe looked at me, her gaze suddenly crystal clear. "A proposal." With a clatter, my hand trembled, nearly knocking over the teacup on the table. I hastily steadied it, forcing myself to remain calm. Congratulations. Did I hear that right? Proposal? Who was she proposing to? That singer she was on the red carpet with, or some other wealthy heir? Wait, Ethan, get a grip. Why are you feeling so sour? Why do you care so much? Why are you so flustered? Haven't you moved on? Ethan, what's wrong? Is this too difficult for you? If you can't do it, just say so. I won't force you. She seemed to see through my feigned composure, transforming back into the queen who controlled everything. It's not difficult at all. It's simple. You can coordinate with my assistant for the follow-up. Now, if you'll excuse me. Stop. No need to bother anyone else. I'll work with you directly. The person I'm proposing to is very stubborn, and if he's not satisfied, I wouldn't dare risk his displeasure. Are you questioning my professional ability? Not at all, Mr. Miller. Surely you wouldn't refuse to help with such a small matter. Fine, you win. As I reluctantly took out my phone to add her on iMessage, she couldn't hide the triumphant smirk on her face, a look of pure satisfaction. Surprisingly, Chloe seemed to have changed. She didn't send any harassing messages. Her account was so quiet it seemed fake. The only thing there was the system notification from the day we connected. I was quite satisfied with this. The peace didn't last long. A few days later, I was heading home from work as usual. As I waited for the elevator downstairs, the doors opened and a man in sunglasses and a mask hurried out. Sorry, Ethan? Are you Ethan Miller? I took a closer look at the man under the light and gasped. It was him, the famous singer who had walked the red carpet with Chloe. And he knew who I was. Mr. Miller, you live here too? Yes. The way he looked at me was strange. Not like he was sizing up a rival, but more like he was watching a drama unfold. Let me introduce myself. I'm Chris, Chloe's older brother. Ethan, right? I've heard Chloe mention you often. What? Her brother? So, the man on her arm back then was her actual brother? No wonder I thought they looked good together. They had a family resemblance. What have I done? You live alone? Not going to invite me in for a drink? Yes, I'm alone. No problem. Please come in. I don't have any tea, just bottled water. Is Fiji okay? I'm fine with anything as long as it's wet. His eyes darted between me and the apartment, making me extremely uncomfortable. Aren't you curious how I know who you are? We've never met before, have we? Did he even need to ask? It obviously had to do with Chloe. It was only after you disappeared that I learned about you. My sister went crazy, searching the entire world for any news of you, turning over every stone, but she found nothing. She told me that if you were no longer in this world, she wouldn't know how to face the future alone. She searched for you for a whole year. I watched her go from hopeful to hopeless, sinking deeper into depression. When I broke down her apartment door, I found her lying on the floor, silent and motionless. Chloe, I swore to God that day, if I ever got my hands on you, I would skin you alive. You bastard. I never imagined that the first thing Chloe would say when she woke up was to ask me in despair, Chris, why did you save me? My mind went blank, and my legs gave out, sending me collapsing to the floor. Chloe, she had tried to kill herself over me. What had I done? The image of Chloe, lying alone in a cold bathtub, ready to give up everything for me, made my entire body tremble violently. Chris looked at me and continued, you should be grateful that you can still cry. You should also be ashamed for the rest of your life. You're the one who pushed away a woman who loved you so deeply, a woman who was willing to die for you. I'm sorry, Mr. Sterling. I honestly didn't know. You certainly are sorry. Chris suddenly lunged forward, grabbing my collar. Sigh, but I guess it's not all your fault. That foolish girl is just too stubborn. Don't be fooled by her cold exterior. She loves you more than she loves herself. I just hope you'll act like a man and clear up the misunderstandings from the past. If you don't remove this thorn, she'll never be okay. The moment the door closed, I completely broke down. I lay on the cold floor and sobbed, a tidal wave of guilt washing over me. It turned out I was the executioner. I spent that weekend in a daze. I'd open my iMessage chat with Chloe, type a sentence, and then delete it. That order for a proposal ring now seemed like the ultimate irony. Just then, my old classmate Alex organized a get-together and invited me to a bar. Amidst the deafening music, I sat in a corner, nursing my drink and drinking alone. People around me were chatting, but I couldn't bring myself to join in. Hey, who would have believed it? Our untouchable campus queen, Chloe Sterling, turned out to be such a devoted lover. Tell me about it. When I heard the stories back then, my jaw nearly hit the floor. After they clinked glasses, I downed my drink in one go without a word. Slow down, Alex advised. Back then, I always thought she was just playing with you, had you completely wrapped around her finger. It didn't seem like she loved you, but then again, she did fulfill all the duties of a girlfriend. Hey, actually, right after you left, Chloe came looking for me, another classmate said. My hand holding the glass froze. She was like a walking corpse back then, no light in her eyes, completely haggard. Man, I was so mad at you, I insisted I didn't know anything. Looking back, I almost became an accomplice to her death. That's why I haven't dared to see her all these years. I'm too ashamed. All right, let's not talk about the sad stuff. We're here to have fun tonight. Come on, drink up. I didn't say anything, just mechanically raised my glass and poured the alcohol down my throat, my heart twisting in agony. The alcohol couldn't numb the pain, it only made the guilt sharper. I had hurt her. Forget it, I'm heading out. You guys have fun. Hey, Ethan, the night's just getting started. Ethan, you're drunk. Let me take you home. The speaker was Sarah, a classmate from our high school. Ever since she found out I was back in the country, she had been subtly trying to get information about me. Thanks, but don't worry about it. I can just get an Uber. Later, Alex secretly told me that Sarah had a crush on me since high school, but I had been completely oblivious back then. Come on, Ethan, you're already swaying. We can't let you go alone. Just let Sarah drive you. Yeah, we're just looking out for you. Don't refuse. It's no problem. I'm heading that way anyway. It's not safe for you to take an Uber in your condition. Surely you trust me more than a random driver, right? With her putting it like that, it would have been rude to refuse again. My place is close by. Thanks for going out of your way to drop me off so late. I appreciate it. I only found out later that it wasn't on her way at all. She had driven across half the city just for this chance to be alone with me. No problem, she said, suddenly flustered. So, as we approached my building's entrance, she stammered, unable to get her words out. What is it you want to say? I stopped and looked at her quietly. Her face instantly turned bright red. Tomorrow's Saturday. Are you free? I was wondering if I could take you out to dinner. Her voice grew quieter and quieter, and she lowered her head, unable to look at me. I'm sorry, I probably have to work this weekend, I said, gently turning her down. I didn't want to give her false hope, especially not now, when my mind was a complete mess. Maybe some other time. Oh, I see. That's okay, I understand. You just got back not long ago. If you ever have some free time. Sarah, I'm really sorry, but I'm not looking for a relationship right now. Maybe you should stop focusing on me. There's really no need to waste your time. In reality, she was just like me, knowing it was impossible but still offering up a burning heart, naively hoping to melt an iceberg. Unfortunately, you can't build a relationship on gratitude. It's getting late. You should get home and rest. I gave her a slight nod and turned towards the building. Ethan, she called out from behind me. I won't give up. I haven't given up for all these years, and I won't back down just because of what you said. I'll wait for the day you finally see me. As if afraid of another rejection, she turned and ran off into the night. I watched her retreating figure and sighed helplessly. The moment the elevator doors opened, the pungent smell of alcohol hit me, making me cough. I instinctively covered my nose and looked up, and I froze. It was Chloe. She was sitting on the cold tiles right outside my door, surrounded by empty liquor bottles. Her hair was a mess, her makeup was smudged, and she looked utterly wretched. I frowned at the mess on the floor. How much did you drink? She slowly lifted her head, and her once cool eyes were now filled with hurt, tears welling up. Her pitiful appearance was a direct hit to my heart, making it clench painfully. Who was that woman who dropped you off? Are you two together now? As she spoke, I could almost hear her heart breaking. Even though tears blurred her vision, she forced her eyes open, trying to read my expression. I had no intention of explaining, but she was stubbornly waiting for an answer. She and I are just old classmates. Nothing more. You're drunk, and the floor is cold. Let me take you home. Let go of me, she yelled, shaking my hand off. Why? Ethan, what am I to you? Are you happy seeing me like this? So miserable? Does it feel satisfying? Chloe grabbed a bottle, raising it as if to smash it over me. Her hand trembled in midair for a long time before she finally dropped it limply, tossing the bottle aside. After crying for several minutes, she staggered to her feet, walked straight into the elevator without another glance at me. The elevator doors slowly closed, and I stood there, frozen, until she was completely gone. I wanted to tell you, I can't forget you either, but she left too quickly to hear it or to listen. To be honest, I'm a coward. That inferiority complex is etched into my bones. After all these years, she's a queen, and what right do I have to ask for a second chance? Chloe, do you even know who I am? I'm the ex-boyfriend who almost got you killed. Damn it, I'm such a bastard. Blood suddenly gushed from my nose, dripping onto the cold floor. I stood there, staring at the puddle of blood, my mind drifting back to a long time ago. It was my 23rd birthday. In front of thousands of students and teachers, Chloe stood in the spotlight, holding a bouquet of flowers, and confessed her love for me. Even now, remembering her promise makes me smile. For the rest of my life, no matter what happens, I, Chloe Sterling, will only love Ethan Miller. She hugged me so tightly it felt like she was trying to merge us into one. On countless nights when I woke from a nightmare, she would gently pull me into her arms and whisper, "It's okay, I'm here. I'll protect you. I won't let the monsters from your dreams take you away." Hearing her say that always made me smile sweetly, and I'd fall back asleep peacefully in her warm embrace. After we broke up, when I'd reach out in the night and feel only cold emptiness, I realized those moments were just dreams born from how much I missed her. But what could I do? I'm a coward. I didn't dare tell her how much I missed her. I was selfish too. Even when I was abroad, so broke I was close to begging, I didn't dare come back. I was afraid of hearing news of her wedding. I quietly got up to get a glass of water when my phone on the table suddenly buzzed. After a moment's hesitation, I answered the call. Hello? Oh, he answered. Hello? Is this Ethan? I'm a friend of Chloe's. Thank God. Is something wrong? You have to come quick. I don't know what set Chloe off, but she called us out and just started chugging drinks. We couldn't stop her. She's had more than a dozen bottles and is completely passed out. Her phone screen is still on, open to your iMessage chat. Even in her sleep, she keeps calling your name. She must have said Ethan 1,000 times. Hearing this, my grip on the phone tightened. When I got to the bar, her friend saw me and said, "Oh my God, you're finally here. Quick, come in. She's been calling your name so much her voice is getting hoarse. Hey, what's wrong? Why are you just standing there?" It's nothing. As soon as I entered the private room, I saw Chloe slumped on the sofa. She was completely wasted, her long hair covering half her face. Even dead drunk, she slept peacefully, like an injured kitten. Sorry for the trouble tonight. I'll take her home now. I closed the back door of the car, nodded to them, and was about to get in and leave. Ethan, brother-in-law. Wait a second. Bro, brother-in-law? Hearing that, my mind went completely blank. I was short-circuiting. I know this is sudden, but Chloe told us you're the one she loves, and that we were only allowed to call you that. You guys never even seemed to ask my name before, and now you're calling me brother-in-law. Please don't. That's too much for me to handle. Brother-in-law Ethan, you've got it all wrong. Ha ha ha. We didn't need to ask your name. Chloe talked about you constantly. Every other word was Ethan. Ethan this, Ethan that, ha ha ha. She loved you so much. She'd even planned out the names of your future children. Ha ha ha. Honestly, we didn't ask because our ears were already ringing with your name. Ha ha ha. So, that's how it was? Chloe specifically told us back then. She knew you were sensitive and told us not to pay too much attention to you, afraid it would scare you off or make you uncomfortable. Actually, we all really liked you, because every time Chloe mentioned you, she had this goofy, happy smile on her face. After you suddenly left, we never saw that smile again. We can swear, Chloe has been single all these years. That singer is her actual brother. In our hearts, you've always been the only brother-in-law we've ever acknowledged. Brother-in-law Ethan, Chloe has been so unhappy these past few years. It hurt us to watch. Anyway, you can ask her the rest yourself when she sobers up. Listening to their jumbled explanations, the heavy stone that had been weighing on my heart for years seemed to crumble into dust and blow away. I let out a long sigh, feeling a lightness I hadn't felt in ages. Thank you for telling me all this. I'm sorry for the trouble tonight. I'll take care of her from here. It was only at this moment that I realized how well she had protected the fragile, insecure version of me. They had accepted me long ago, considered me one of them. I couldn't help but laugh at myself, and I mentally slapped myself across the face again. Ethan, oh Ethan, you really are an idiot. Chloe, why did you protect me so well? What else have you been hiding from me? As we neared my place, Chloe woke up. Seeing me behind the wheel, she didn't say a word, just leaned quietly against the seat. She could only half-heartedly nestle into my arms, letting me support her. As the elevator ascended, she buried her head in my chest, silently listening to my heartbeat. We shared a silent understanding. Can you tell me why you bought the apartment across from mine? I finally asked. I just wanted to be closer to you, even if it was just to catch a glimpse of you when you opened your door. I didn't answer, just helped her to her front door. Seeing my lack of response, she lost the courage to say more. Emboldened by the alcohol, she just pouted at me, her eyes seeming to plead. Are you really going to leave me all alone in this cold apartment? I still didn't speak, just gestured for her to enter her passcode. The door opened. I had just turned to leave when a strong force pushed me into the room. The lights were off, and I could only feel a warm presence slowly approaching me. In the dim, hazy atmosphere, her silhouette enveloped me. Once again, the drunk Chloe had inexplicably tackled me, this time onto her sofa. She pinned me down and I couldn't move. The proximity made me hold my breath, my heart racing. Ethan, I miss you so much. I'm the one who can't live without you. I'm the pathetic one who can't let you go. You're the only one I'll ever love. I waited for you all night, until I saw that woman drop you off. Do you know how jealous I was? I almost went crazy. The person standing by your side should be me. I love you so much. Chloe, I said, holding her tightly and explaining patiently. Sarah did confess her feelings for me, but I told her my heart is already occupied by an irreplaceable woman, and there's no room for anyone else. An irreplaceable woman? Who is it? She asked playfully, though she knew the answer perfectly well. I'm not telling you, I whispered, placing a gentle kiss on her forehead. Humph, you've gotten bold, she murmured, her gaze growing hotter in the dark. After a few seconds of silence, she lifted her head and kissed me again. I gently wrapped my arms around her slender waist, and this time, I took the lead. Chloe, I love you too. I can't suppress how much I've missed you. Let's. Okay. Before I could even finish, she nodded shyly, accepting all the tenderness I offered. The next morning, Watching her sleep peacefully, my heart melted completely. I got out of bed quietly, trying not to wake her. After washing up, I headed to the kitchen. Chloe came running out, rubbing her sleepy eyes, her hair a mess, a look of panic on her face. When she saw me, she threw herself into my arms. I thought last night was a dream. I woke up and you weren't there. It scared me to death. Silly girl, it wasn't a dream. I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. Now go get washed up. I made breakfast, your favorite corn porridge. Hey, it's broad daylight. Behave yourself. This is the taste. How did you make it? It's so delicious. I rested my chin on my hand, watching her, until my gaze unintentionally fell on the hand holding the spoon. On her fair wrist, a faint but clear scar was visible. Noticing my expression change, she quickly hid her hand under the table. Let me see. Don't look, it's ugly. Let me see. She panicked, but timidly extended her hand. The moment my fingertips gently traced that old scar, my tears started flowing uncontrollably. The mark of her past was so clear, so heartbreaking. I didn't dare to think about it further. If Chris hadn't arrived in time, if that tragedy had truly taken her from me, what would I have done? I would be a sinner. From that moment on, we would have been separated by life and death. If that had happened, I would have lived the rest of my life in endless regret, never able to forgive myself. What are you crying for? Silly, what's there to cry about? I'm right here in front of you, perfectly fine. The more nonchalant she was, the more my heart ached. I'm sorry. I buried my face in her embrace, letting her hold me like a child. You have no idea how hopeless I was back then, and how much I hated you. I hated you for coming into my life, for giving me hope only to snatch it away, for being so cruel as to abandon me. Later, I figured it out. Since I couldn't find you, I would make myself so successful that you couldn't miss me. I worked tirelessly, desperately building my reputation so that if you were still alive, you would see me no matter where you were. I wanted you to know that I was doing well, that I was exceptional. But more than that, I just wanted you to know how much I missed you. I held her tightly, wishing I could fuse her into my very being and never let go. You know, it's always been you for me. I swore I would marry you and become the happiest woman in the world. Her words slowly dismantled my fragile defenses of self-loathing. I'm sorry. You've suffered so much all these years. Okay, stop crying or I'll get mad. Be happy. She wiped away my tears and cupped my face. Ethan, I really hate you for abandoning me, but I'm so pathetic. For the rest of my life, I'm completely and utterly yours. I was too sensitive back then, refusing to communicate because of my insecurities, stubbornly believing only what I saw. That was a huge mistake. Today, I had to lance that festering wound in my heart. Chloe, I want to be honest. When we were together, I felt incredibly insecure. You were surrounded by glamorous, wealthy people, and I was just a poor student. I was terrified I wasn't good enough for you. I didn't dare share my joys, and I certainly didn't dare share my sorrows. I knew you were busy and I was afraid of bothering you. In our relationship, I felt like a clown on a tightrope every single day. Plus, you have a naturally cool demeanor, so whenever you were even slightly distant, I thought you were just playing with me. You were a great girlfriend, but I never felt worthy of being your partner. For a long time, I saw myself as a dog you kept on a leash. When you were happy, you'd toss me a treat. When you were sad, don't say any more. At some point, her eyes had also filled with tears. Ethan, please don't talk about yourself like that. I never ever thought of you that way. You never did. Only now did she finally understand why I had seemed so insecure back then. I'm sorry, Ethan. I had no idea there were so many misunderstandings between us. Do you know how much I like you? She said, her voice soothing me like a child, bringing a long-lost sense of peace. Actually, the first time we met wasn't at the university. Venmo me $50 and I'll tell you. I'll Venmo you 50,000. I want to hear 1,000 secrets. The first time we met was on a rainy night. My dad was in the hospital and I was rushing to get there. The area was remote and I couldn't get a cab. Just as I was about to run into the downpour, you saw how desperate I was. You didn't say a word, just handed me the only umbrella you had. What about you? It's fine, I live nearby. Before I could even react, you ran off into the pouring rain. The rain was so heavy that night, it soaked you completely, and it left an indelible mark on my heart. I remember thinking, who is this silly boy, willing to get drenched just to give his umbrella to a stranger? So silly. At the time, I thought we'd never cross paths again. But then, I joined that volunteer event, and in a sea of people in red vests, I spotted you immediately. I knew it was a sign from heaven. Ethan, when you thought I was just playing around, the truth is, from the very day we got together, I was already wondering when you would ask me to marry you. I love you so much, but you were so independent. If you said you loved me, you'd often have a cold expression. But if you said you didn't, I could still feel your kindness. My friends were envious of me, and it made me so angry and anxious. I was terrified someone else would snatch such a wonderful guy away. Whenever I saw another woman near you, I'd get so jealous. I even hated that I wasn't a student, so I couldn't be by your side every day. But I didn't dare show it, I just bottled it all up inside. Whatever you wanted to do, I wouldn't interfere. I respected your decisions. And that's what gave you the mistaken impression that I didn't value you or love you enough, isn't it? In her eyes, I saw endless tenderness and sincerity. Turned out she cared about me far more than I had ever imagined. So, she had known me even before I knew her. I was afraid to show you how much I loved you. Ethan, the truth is, I'm insecure and fragile too. You idiot, I'm the one who's most afraid of being abandoned. I even thought I'd be okay if you only loved my money, because at least I really do have money. But unfortunately for me, you loved me, not my money. Actually, my silent departure back then had nothing to do with any of that. It was because I mistakenly thought Chris was your actual boyfriend. Just because of that? Ethan, are you an idiot? Why didn't you just ask me? Seriously, I was just attending a dinner with my own brother. She looked like she was about to explode, glaring at me before biting down hard on my shoulder. You could have confronted me. I'm not afraid of you throwing a tantrum. I was just afraid of you leaving without a word. I kept wondering if I did something wrong, she said, her voice full of hurt. Ethan, I hate you so much. That night, all the misunderstandings were finally laid bare. I gently carried her back to the bedroom, and looking at her peaceful face, I couldn't resist placing a kiss on her forehead. Good night, my silly girl. After we got back together, Chloe changed. She wanted to be stuck to my side every day, terrified that if she looked away, I'd disappear again. I knew she was incredibly insecure. To be honest, so was I. We were both afraid the other person would vanish again. So this time, we both carefully nurtured our rediscovered love. At night, she would still hold me tightly, as if afraid she'd wake up to find it was all a dream. I will never leave you again, not until the day I die. Although my new brother-in-law still disliked me and probably wanted to punch me, he still offered his sincere congratulations. What could he do? I was the man his sister had chosen. That day, her best friend tricked her into coming over, completely unaware of the plan. When she pushed open the door and saw the room filled with flowers and balloons, and me standing at the end of it, she froze. I, dressed in a suit, walked towards her and got down on one knee. Miss Chloe Sterling, my name is Ethan Miller. May I ask you to marry me and become my wife? Almost instantly, tears streamed down her face. The ring in my hand was the very one she had commissioned me to design. I had to admit, this woman was a brilliant strategist. All the coincidences I had perceived were actually her meticulous plans. But what did it matter? Miss Chloe Sterling, today marks the 7th anniversary of the day we met. For the past 4 years, there hasn't been a moment I haven't missed you. My life felt like it was shrouded in a thick fog, until we met again. That morning, the light fell on your face, and you were so beautiful it took my breath away. In that instant, I was suddenly terrified that if I closed my eyes, it would all disappear. And in those few short minutes, I made my decision to propose. I have to propose to you. I made you wait for 4 years, while you foolishly waited 7 for me. So now, I'm officially asking for the rest of your life in return. I want to give you a home that belongs only to us. Chloe, will you walk through this door with me? Outside the door, Chloe covered her mouth, her body shaking uncontrollably. Our friends started chanting, "Marry him, I will," she cried without any hesitation, throwing herself into my arms. Holding her as she sobbed in my arms, I suddenly felt like the luckiest man in the world. For all these years, no matter how much I ran, she never left. She was always right there, waiting for me to turn around. I took her hand and solemnly placed the ring I had prepared on her finger. There, don't cry. From now on, you're Mrs. Miller. Did you all hear that? I'm Mrs. Miller now, she said, breaking into a tearful smile and holding up her ringed hand as if showing it to the whole world. Ethan, I feel like the happiest woman in the world right now. The cheers and applause of our friends engulfed us. But her eyes were only for me. You are the best gift the world has ever given me. Hearing that, my nose tingled. The truth is, I never told her that she was the best gift the world had ever given me. I also never told her that on that rainy night, I had just lost my last living relative. Back then, I was on the verge of a complete breakdown, using the cover of the rain to vent all my emotions. In my near-destroyed state, I never could have imagined that for one small act of kindness, fate would repay me with such a precious gift. She was like a small sun that illuminated my world. At the moment we exchanged our vows, she stood on her tiptoes and whispered in my ear, "You are the deepest secret I've ever kept in my heart." 6 months after we got married, Chloe got pregnant. She became even clingier, often acting like an insecure child. "Honey, after the baby is born, are you going to love the baby and not me anymore?" "How could I? No one could ever replace you in my heart, not even our baby," I said with a smile, pulling her into my arms and patiently reassuring her. "Soon, a little one will be calling you Mama," in a tiny voice. "When that happens, will you be too busy with the baby to pay attention to me?" "Of course not, because in this whole world, you will always be my favorite Ethan," she said, pressing her face against my chest, her tone firm and sweet.